I'm a little bit pressed for time, and I want to make a longer video on this, but I'm not going to sit here and wait until the perfect moment comes to be able to sit down and talk to you for 45 minutes about this. And it might be even longer than that. So, yeah, I don't have time for a solo podcast right now, but I do want to talk to you about something that I think is leading people astray. I almost want to say that sounds dramatic, but it might not be dramatic enough. Manifestation and the law of attraction. It is something, it is the law of life. I'm going to say that first and foremost. Your thoughts creating reality or influencing reality or influencing your success, however you want to put that, that idea is biblical. That idea is beyond biblical. It's as old as almost time itself. And you can look up any ancient text, you can look at any religion, for the most part, any philosophy, and you're going to find that concept reflected in it. So I want to say that first and foremost. This is not me doubting the power of the mind, the power of thoughts, the power of your words. This is me telling you where I went wrong and how it actually derailed my success before it started building it. And not in a, oh, things have to fall apart before they fall together, and things get worse before they get better, and it's just this cosmic thing. No. Me not fully understanding what I was dealing with, what I was utilizing, what I needed to be doing, derailed me. And instead of enhancing the quality of my life, it caused me to chase the wrong things. It caused me to attach to outcomes and develop an anxiety that stayed with me all day that I couldn't get out of my chest. And it's something that I'm still overcoming in a lot of ways. I've come a long way since my first experiences learning about the law of attraction, learning about manifestation, learning about the power of your thoughts and your mind. Is something that was always kind of a topic in my life, but in terms of actually studying it, I started when I was 18, 17, 18, 17, somewhere around there. It was around the start of my basketball season, senior year in high school. So, yeah, 17 and a half, 18. And I'm not gonna lie, it was because I liked this girl and I was looking there you know the videos, signs that a girl likes you and whatever, I mean I was just hyper analyzing the situation. The girl was giving me mixed signals and it was confusing me, and I was in a passive state, looking for signs, looking for meaning in every single thing that happened. Instead of me taking ownership of my life and saying, hey, I'm going to go this way, and if this girl comes with me, cool. If she doesn't, cool. But my instinct has gotten me this far, and I'm going to trust it to continue to get me even further and trust that it's linked to something that's bigger than me. But that's not what I did. I was looking for signs. I was looking for, a pick me up in a sense, false reassurance. And that's what the law of attraction did for me for a long time. And I think it does it for a lot of people. And if you are down the manifestation rabbit hole and you're finding this video, I'm not saying that that reassurance is completely false. I'm saying it's false if you apply it incorrectly. And so many of us do. This is how I did it. I started to think that if I visualized perfectly enough, if I believed perfectly enough, if my thoughts were perfect enough, I could change my reality within minutes, hours, within a day. I believed that I was able to shift between dimensions and change all of the things that I didn't like about my life instantly after a meditation, after I'm going to tell you the story. For my birthday, for my 20th birthday, I got a bar of chocolate from my grandma in Germany. I was playing professional basketball in Germany, and my name was in the NBA draft. For those of you who don't know, NBA draft, it's a basketball player's dream. It means if you are selected in this draft, you're a millionaire, you're one of the best basketball players on the planet, and yeah, it's something that every young basketball player pretty much dreams about. My name was in this draft, and deep down, I knew I was not going to be selected because of a lot of different factors. I didn't have the reputation that the other players had. I was more or less a nobody. Of the names in this draft, I was a nobody. But false reassurance had me at a point where I thought I was going to be saved by my intense visions, my intense belief, my intense thinking. Subliminal audio tapes, meditations, visualizations, everything. And I remember the draft starting, and I had practice the next morning, and I didn't watch the draft. I was in Germany, and like I said, I had practice, and I had this chocolate bar, and on it said "Wish Fulfiller" in German. And I remember saying a prayer and eating the entire chocolate bar. And part of me actually believed that if I believed hard enough, that chocolate bar was going to get me drafted into the NBA. And I know this is an incredibly, incredibly sad story because I did not get drafted into the NBA. And that was 5 going on 6 years ago, and I'm still not in the NBA. So that dream did not happen, especially not the way that I envisioned it my entire life. But that doesn't mean my story is a sad one, because my story is still being written. And I needed moments like that, and I had countless more afterwards, but this was one that just popped in my head and illustrated the way I was thinking, the way I was going about manifesting, practicing the law of attraction, just this idea. This is how I viewed it. But recently, I've started to understand what it is that is actually going to lead to results. And there's this topic called detachment. There's a law of detachment. And it's always been a paradox to me. How can I visualize and want something so intensely and see it with, in the back of my mind, the idea of I'm going to have this thing. I'm visualizing to get this thing. How can I visualize to get something so consistently and be detached to the point to where I say, I don't need it. I don't need this. I'm okay without it. And also, why in the world would I sit here and almost gaslight myself into believing that I have this thing in the present? Why would I say thank you for something that I don't have yet? Those were two things that bothered me, and I couldn't get past them. Any video I watched, any person I listened to who talked about these things, successful people much more successful than me, I couldn't wrap my mind around it until now. Now I do see how it makes sense, because I've let go of the one thing I said. I'm not visualizing to get a specific result. I'm not visualizing or practicing gratitude to get something. I'm practicing gratitude in order to become something, in order to familiarize myself with the person who has those things, who experiences these things. Because me as an athlete, I understand that you're not going to get better at shooting a basketball without shooting a basketball. So let's take being a millionaire. You can't be a millionaire if you're not good at being a millionaire. Because even if you become a millionaire, you're going to lose those millions. Why? Because you're not a millionaire. So what does that mean? You have to familiarize yourself with being a millionaire. You have to practice it. Just like I go in the gym and shoot basketball. I have to go into my mental gym and practice being a millionaire if that's what I say I want. Because just like in a basketball game, they might pass you the ball. If you haven't been in the gym shooting, you're not going to make the shot. You might get lucky and make one, but when it's all on the line, when the pressure is on and people are relying on you, you're not making the shot. Why? Because you haven't practiced. And the millionaire thing is the same thing. Life is going to throw stuff at you. So is your identity bulletproof enough to withstand everything that life throws at you? And that's what I'm starting to realize with the law of attraction, manifestation, whatever you want to call it. Beyond just becoming a person, yeah, okay, I've understood that for a while. Like you have to be the person who deserves these things, who gets these things automatically. But what does that mean? And that's the missing link. Any visualization you do, it's not about you getting the thing. It's about you preparing to be in that moment, you preparing to be that person. An actor goes over their lines because they know they're going to be in the movie. They prepare for the role because they know millions and millions of people are going to see this movie. You have to treat your goals and your visions like that. You have to prepare for them, and visualization is a part of that process. In fact, it's something that happens organically with the things we know we're going to do. You think about your day before it happens. You think about going to work, going to school, going to sports practice, going to your piano lesson, going on your first date. You think about those things automatically. So you starting to familiarize yourself with something. You are training your entire body, nervous system, and mind to expect those things to start happening. It shouldn't be your number one goal, number one focus, because it should just be, what do I need to get more familiar with? What are things that I'm not seeing in my life, right? That I'm not experienced with in my life that are a part of my vision? What do I need to get familiar with to become the next version of myself? This is something I'm going to get into detail on and share some more anecdotes and more experiences, because I think those are extremely helpful. And I hope this video could help you just a little bit, give you a different perspective, because I know there are a lot of people out there who give false reassurance, and there's nothing wrong with them doing that. I do believe they believe what they say. It just gives a lot of people the wrong idea. People like me who are rather logical and philosophical and analytical, I think this way of thinking about it makes a lot more sense to people like me. So I hope this reaches people who are maybe in the position that I was in and am still in. And if you are, thank you for making it this far. Thank you for sitting and listening to me. And I really do hope this helped you along your quest to be who you know you are. That's all it is. That's in my Instagram bio, my quest to become who I know I am. And those visions are who you know yourself to be truly. And your frustration is the gap between who you are now and who you know you're supposed to be. So if this video helped you close the gap, yeah, there's more where that came from. My entire page is dedicated to helping you to close that gap, whether it be by making you laugh, making you think, or helping you learn. That's my mission. That's why I'm sharing. And yeah, sharing helps me as well, of course. Let's not get it twisted. But it's time for me to go to bed. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you soon.